Rider buys a bike, starts riding it.
Hmm.
Injury also self-managed. Or instead of going for a self-management, directly hits to the chemistry. Chemistry blocks the pain, and still you push it. When you take a painkiller, the pain is blocked, so you're repeatedly damaging the tissues.
Right.
If you look at arthritis, if the arthritis is because of physical parameters, popping a painkiller leaves you without pain. Again, you rupture and damage it. Okay.
Right.
Start running, cycling, and swimming. They come back with injuries. Even though they have a bike fit, their body is not fit to do it. So we go
Too much too soon.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would say that too much.
Right.
Also. So then we do a functional movement screening of the body. Then I would say like this muscle, the joint we look for hypo and hypermobility. Muscle we look for power and the stability with the joint. So if the pain scale is higher, we reduce the pain and then we put back to a strengthening exercises program.
I am Venki, a working professional in IT as well as an amateur masters athlete and a coach for endurance sports. You are listening to the Working Athlete podcast. Here, I talk to working athletes from all walks of life and experts from various sports to provide you with inspiration, training tips, and lifestyle advice. If this is something that interests you, I have a small request from you. Please subscribe to the channel on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. You can also let me know what you like and what you would like to listen to more of by commenting in the comment section on YouTube. I promise to do my best to improve with each episode and bring you the best content that helps you and me get better each day. In this episode, I talked to Dr. Dhanajeyan of Spectrum Physio. My association with Dhanajeyan began when I became part of the cycling team Spectrum Racing back in 2011, where he was one of the sponsors on the team. Although he is no longer a sponsor on the team, his association with cycling and cycling related events continues, with him and his team taking care of the riders and helping them complete challenging multi-day rides like the Tour of Nilgiris, among other events. In this conversation, we try to cover various aspects of pain management and aspects like how to identify an injury versus normal pain, the importance of posture, and how to avoid injuries, etc. I hope you find this conversation useful. This episode is brought to you by The Bike Affair. If you are in search of a one-stop destination that caters to all your cycling needs, our today's sponsor, The Bike Affair, is the perfect place to check out. I have known the founders of The Bike Affair, Krish and Gokul, personally for nearly 15 years now. In fact, my first century ride was with Krish back in 2008. They are both exceptional human beings and entrepreneurs that believe in providing exceptional service to their customers. And it shows. With over 14 years of experience, the Bike Affair has established itself as a trusted source offering honest advice and exceptional service. They are offering a special treat for the listeners of this podcast. You can enjoy a 10% discount on your first order by using the code BikeyVenki on their website. So if you are in Hyderabad, visit their store in Kondapur, or if you are anywhere else in India, shop online by using the link thebikeaffair.com. I will leave the link in the show notes. Now, enjoy the podcast. Welcome to the Working Athlete podcast, Dr. Dhananjay. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks, Venki. It's a great pleasure to meet my Spectrum Racing team again.
Yeah. So, for the audience, just to give a context, Dr. Dhananjay is heads founder and MD of Spectrum Physio Centers, and I am part of Spectrum Racing, which was founded back in 2009, 10, I think 10. That is when Arvind and you and a few others kind of got together, and the name of the team kind of comes from Spectrum Physio Center, as it is Spectrum Racing. and it has been, I mean, over the years you have been a tremendous support for the team and all of us, and it is great to sit with you and talk about cycling, injuries, the importance of physio, and all these things. So welcome again, doctor. Let's get into you have been part of many cycling events like TFN,
BBCH, bar races.
BBCH, bar races, and all ton of other cycling events. And you have seen many riders and many kind of different pains, aches, injuries over the last many years, right? So let us, I want to take this opportunity to pick on your brain, pick on your experience with all these injuries and stuff like that, so that the audience can benefit from. So how to avoid injuries, how to identify injuries versus aches, just normal aches, and all that. And let's get started with talking about how do you even identify an injury.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
There's a lot of difference between an injury. I can use a word like BCAD, before me into cycling sport and before cycling sport. Generally, we ask the one question called, since how long you have the pain? So a cyclist comes with immediately. Rather, end of the ride, we just find out there are injuries. To be more precise, when we go for the longer rides, like 100 kilometers or 200 kilometers, my job is like sitting in the car seat and driving it. Actually, we are starting observing the rider's position and the posture. We write the bib number and notice it, like whether the rhythm of hip, knee, ankle goes closer, or he is slouching, or he is sitting erect. And sometimes I do love people who hold the camera in one phone and drive in one hand and do it. So we just see their posture, are they fit to do those things.
Right.
And end of the race, we guide them on doing it. Rather than me identifying the injury, the rider comes with, they're unable to do the performances better, or new cycle, old body, not cooperating. There's a glitch which stuck up there.
Yeah.
So they go back to bike fit, think that bike fit is wrong. Everything is perfect. Bike is fit, but the body is not fit to. So that's where it hits more for us. And when the pain comes, it is not just like an orthopedic view of an aspect. Like we look at IT band, piriformis syndrome, quadratic vastus, this syndrome, chondromalacia patella, lateral ligament, middle ligament. Down the lane, we noticed it's all to do with how the fulcrum of the body sits in the cycle. Like, for example, the pelvis sits on the saddle, the cleat which sits on the pedal, how it works on it. So those things correlates more. Since I come with the background of biomechanics as my subject in the physiotherapy,
Okay.
and I've done my specialization in sports orthopedics physiotherapy, that has helped me a lot to identify it. So these pain, most of the time, I will not say 100%, most of the time, this pain is to do with their physical changes. To be precise, more line of gravity, center of gravity, first order liver, second order, third order liver changes. That's it.
Right.
So these changes helps me to identify it easily.
Okay. So, and you, for the rider themselves, right? The rider or runner or whoever, the athlete, let us say, how do they distinguish whether what the pain or the whatever they're experiencing is serious enough or not to kind of consult someone? How is it serious enough, or is it kind of tending to be an injury, or is it just a fatigue? How do they kind of go ahead and identify?
It's a wonderful question. I was waiting for it. Most of the time, there's a difference between a cramp and a spasm. Spasm happens because of strain of the muscle. In the body, if the pain is only on one particular segment or one area, we will put it. 90% it is to do with the muscle strain and the spasm which develops. You know, the cramp which comes with the dehydration of the body, it will like the catch happens everywhere in the part of the body. The moment you come from the ride, you lie down, you turn, you move, you'll be having catches at different places.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So it is misjudged as spasm or sprain. Lie onto the foam roller, keep running it. I would just say that lie down, pour cold water or keep some ice packs or just chill out. Hydrate yourself to overcome the dehydration. This will help a lot to differentiate the spasm and the cramp. And coming to your question of when they should meet a physiotherapist, when they should go to orthopedic surgeon, or when they can treat by themselves. Those three
Right.
things I can
Yeah.
specifically
Yeah,
more
yeah.
to precise it. In pain management, we have a scale rating called Visual Analog Scale, VAS. So then we question it for the pain. If you have 0 is no pain, 10 is the worst pain, how much do you rate it?
Okay.
So somebody says have the pain like from score of 0 to 10, that's around say 3 or 2 or 1. You can handle it. I'll give that sharings also what to do.
Yeah.
When the pain is say between 5 to 7 or 5 to 8, you can reach it. And again, when a cyclist should meet a physio is when the pain is happening only with your functional movements, the pain increases,
Right.
not while resting.
Mhm.
If the pain is there even resting, or if the pain VAS scale is between 7, 8, 9 or higher rate, when you're limping, you can't even move around, do not wait. Rush up to the nearby emergency, meet a general physician. He may put you onto an whoever the specialty is needed, spine or orthopedic or whatever the address is to be done. It needs.
Right.
Coming to my first question here, when to meet a physiotherapist or yourself can handle it. Sometimes the pain can be because of your deficiency of your chemistry in the body. I'm a physics specialist.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
the chemistry. Let us put it as vitamins, minerals, or enzymes, whatever the supports when it is misbalanced. That hits badly. So if I'm going to assess you and think that, okay, your pain is like very less 3, do this TheraBand stretcher, do this, do that, sometimes I'm going to harm you. If I'm not judging it rightly, I'm going to harm you.
Okay.
So that's where my biomechanics knowledge comes there and find out line of gravity, center of gravity. A proper functional screening movement will help us. For example, somebody comes with the inner aspect of the knee. We generally look at gluteus medius, the pelvis movement, how the load bearing happens. And adductor pain, long distances to the hip groin pain. We look at on the SI joint or the gluteus medius at the backside. We call it as agonist and antagonist muscle or co-contraction muscles or opposite muscles, which we do it. Ideally, to meet a physiotherapist, when you feel that the pain is a bit slightly higher rate, which is troubling you every moment of activities. On your own self-remedy when you can plan. So rather, I would say that self-remedy is not advisable if the pain is high. You can think more of preventive aspect. Whether the pain is there or not, whether you're expecting pain or not, always maintain your muscle length and muscle tone in a good way. Those who ride, say, 200, 300 kilometers weekends, it's good to do an elite rider can come back and do a proper nice stretches.
Right.
There's a lot of difference between stretches and the release. Myofascial release is different, which works on the fascia. The stretches, what we follow is towards the stretch happens on tendon origin, both areas.
Right.
Stretch happens on the tendon, stretch happens on the origin part. That's called proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation techniques.
Right.
So you can see that in social media. You can get a lot of stretching tapes and YouTubes do it.
Yeah.
But when to choose is the question now. So when the pain is there or not, come back, elite riders, please ensure you do the stretches for gluteus medius, rectus femoris, hamstrings, calf muscles.
Right.
And then come back to your spine and upper part of the body, stretching and chin tuck back. Preventive aspect. Sometimes when the pain is niggle, not that much, just an ice pack for about 10 minutes. How to use an ice pack? There are gel packs available, put it in the freezer. Again, wrap it up with a wet cloth to avoid the ice burns and place it on that area.
Okay.
Even doing this remedies, if you still the pain is persisting for more than 4 or 6 hours, please reach a nearby sports physiotherapist.
Right.
Do not go to a fitness trainer and do not Google the YouTube exercises, how to treat it. Okay. Sorry to say, I've seen a lot of people who go to YouTube exercise learning and then come back to us.
Right.
So that becomes a challenge for us to handle it, because it is like, yes, you may think that I studied 20 years before, but I studied 6 years.
Right.
Okay, in YouTube it gives in 6 minutes. And we believe in that and we go on it. A lot of injuries, it has gone to the level of getting into the surgery extension.
I think while there is a lot of information out there, it becomes a challenge. The diagnosis becomes a challenge. Self-diagnosis can almost always be somewhat of a miss. Right. So that is where the seeing a specialist will help, because day in and day out, someone like you would be seeing hundreds of cases, and you will be able to, and of course, the medical education and everything else and the experience will come in identifying that making the correct diagnosis. Only if we can make a correct diagnosis, can a correct treatment be prescribed, right? Yeah. So I mean, it kind of makes sense that don't to see a specialist first and foremost, rather than wasting time trying to self treat and maybe delaying the whole process of healing, and maybe causing more harm than good. It makes sense. So you talked about preventive side of things, which is stretching, making sure that the muscle stretch is there, tone is there. So with post-ride stretches, glutes and hamstrings and all that, right? Calves, everything. So, and you let us talk about what are the things that riders, let's say, once they start feeling a pain somewhere in the body, what is it that they can do? You said if it is on a scale of 1 to 4, 1 to 4, 0 to 4, it might be something that you wait it out or ice pack it. Is that correct?
You're right.
Right.
But 0 to 4, self-management.
Right.
And 4 to 7, reach nearby physio. If it needs a medical addressing, above 8 of 10, the medical management is needed.
Right. So once, say, a rider has come to you with XYZ pain, so how do you take him forward? How do you identify, and how do you take him through the rehab cycle?
Okay. Putting back here this question to brief it. Recently, we were at tour of Nilgiris for that 10 days trip of doing it. When they do the long ride, so we had a group session of stretchings. You were there to handle it.
Correct. Yeah.
One way it is like we can't handle one-on-one. So we made as a group stretches to maintain the muscle length.
Right.
When a rider comes to us with there is some ache or injury, or during the ride when he aches, any pain or problem, what to be done is like, as I mentioned, if there's a pain during the ride, the moment it start noticing, I would say don't push it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. If you're going to do like another 100 kilometers or 50 kilometers, don't push it. Get down, check your seat height, the saddle, the handlebar, the pedal. These three are very important. And sometimes, even if everything is perfect, your posture when you sit on the saddle, you may lean forward too much, or you may go back and do it. 90% of the time, if it is the physiological changes due to physical ailment, the pain hits you more to do it. Please stop your vehicle, check it. If you have a bike fit guy next to you, or most of the riders are expert in bike fit on their own itself. Every time we say increase the saddle height 3 millimeters upward or backward, downward or forward, whatever depends upon the knee pain. And then the bar, how to adjust it. Sometimes your cleats worn out causes pain and the burning food to do it.
Right.
Stop it, check it, and then proceed.
Right.
When the rider comes with injury to my clinic,
Mhm.
so past recently, since my 10 years of experience, I used to teach them when the injury happens, manage on your own, or send me a picture or come on a video call. It's easy for me to answer it. Like, okay, this is the injury, this is it, you do it. Sometimes when they come with this, 90% of the time, they're little amateurs who just bought a cycle,
Right.
who just bought a cycle, start running, cycling, and swimming. They come back with injuries. Even though they have a bike fit, their body is not fit to do it. So we go
Too much too soon.
Yeah, I would say that too much.
Right.
Also. So then we do a functional movement screening of the body. Then I would say like this muscle, the joint we look for hypo and hypermobility. Muscle we look for power and the stability with the joint. So if the pain scale is higher, we reduce the pain and then we put back to a strengthening exercises program.
Right.
So I have a team, Dr. Ankit and Dr. Vignesh, Mahesh, who are with the TFN.
Right.
About 8-9 physios are with me in the cycling expertise.
Right.
With my knowledge, I have my fitness expertise, Ben. So he handles my elite cyclist. So who can help? But I think even our peak performance, I forgot, Desh Pandey. So I have a lot of, because he has a good team of strength and conditioning team who helps it on a preventive aspect. So our expertise comes with the pain management and stop it up.
Right.
Because spending one client 45 minutes for 15 days, it doesn't work out for us. We want Fadafad results. Okay, your injury is better, go to strength and conditioning. If you can't go to like pick the any other, sorry to mention his name.
Yeah. So he's a expert in the field, and
yes, I know there's a lot of cyclists and runners to go there.
Yeah,
we have I think met only. It happens there. So when they get into strength and conditioning, the preventive aspect happens. So by that time, he's even the amateur cyclist, he's a knowledge cyclist.
Right.
So he understands his body, he understands his cycle structure. So he puts back a regular physical maintenance of his body, when he should go to strength and conditioning, when he should rest it. This helps it.
Right.
So I would emphasize more here, like there will be a manual comes with a cycle, how to fix and everything. There is no manual how to sit and how to ride and do it. Probably if they get into some coaches, like am I fit to ride? I've done it. So how many kilometers I should ride? 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers. I think you have some couple of your students who come to me, they have told us, like you guide them to reach it. I really love it because that's it done. My job is over.
Yeah.
I'll just meet them once in a while because they're fit.
Yeah.
Good cycle, good body fit, a good coach, a proper maintenance. Yeah. It helps a lot.
Right.
That's how it was.
Yeah. And just a while back you mentioned that chemistry kind of, imbalances in chemistry kind of also can result in, injuries and stuff. What do you mean by that? Can you expand on that?
Yes, please. Actually, in every sports, we have something called triage management or a triage manager. When we go for the cycling, running events, for example, there's a mass of recently Bangalore Marathon or something, 20,000 runners, TCS 30, more than 10,000 runners when we go. I put a couple of physios as a triage manager. We differentiate them, like when the claim can come or something, okay, he need to go to medical or you need to come to physio. In physio, injury management or push it up. Physics and chemistry, as I mentioned it. Chemistry means more to do with your physiological parameters. If you're not checked it, or if you're not maintained it, or if you've ignored it, the most dangerous.
Right.
Okay. Ours is like a service engineer. I come and reservice and do it. If chemistry is not correct, anything happened. It's the most dangerous. You must have recently in a running event, somebody collapsed off the way.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even though he is fit and everything, screening will help a lot. To more precise on this chemistry and the physics, I'll be elaborating on. Please ensure when you get your CTC 1 CR or when you cross the age of 40, go to a health checkup. 3 months once, 6 months once. Have a good physician with you.
Right.
Spend, doesn't matter. Go to a lab. Most of the time when the lab laboratory comes normal or nil, we think the money is wasted.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah. When something goes wrong, we get panicked.
Right.
It's either ways.
Yeah.
So, doctor, why did you refer to him? That doctor told me to go for an MRI and it says nothing.
Yeah.
Boss, you should be happy
Right.
when it comes with nothing, so that I can plan my exercise program on an aggressive aspect.
Right.
So when chemistry is fit, most of the time, say about when I'm a junior physiotherapist in cycling injury in 2010, we think it is a thyroid deficiency, it's vitamin B12 deficiency, or vitamin D deficiency, or any other hormonal deficiencies. We are unable to judge it. Okay. So then we found out nowadays, most of the time, as I mentioned, myofascial, this side pain, this side muscle release, after my 30 seconds or 1 minute treatment, the pain should reduce. That is physical problem. In this chemistry, when it is any other parameters or the deficit, which I'm not that much expertise to comment on it also, it's ideally to meet your physician. I emphasize more on it. Get checked everything. So it's athletic, your heart is going to active, heart and lungs is going to be more higher rate when you do any sports performances.
Yeah.
Even to support that, you need your other parameters in a good rate. That's what I mentioned. A physiological checkup, periodic checkup will help a lot.
Yeah. I mean, there is physical fitness and health fitness. When I'm able to ride, say, 40 kilometers in an hour, doesn't just means that I am fit to do cycling well. That I am an expert in that particular discipline of individual time trial or whatever.
Okay.
I am fit to ride. Right? It doesn't mean that I am all parameters of health are okay. So when we look at a person, an athlete, we think that since he is riding, say, 200 kilometers or 1,000 kilometer brevet, or he is very fast cyclist, he is very fit. You can be very fit, but also that their health parameters can be off. That is where what you suggested with regular screening helps, right, to identify if some of the markers are off, whether your B12 and nowadays every other person seems to be deficient with vitamin D, and all these things kind of help identify. Regular screenings helps identify any issues with the heart, any issues, thyroid and other hormonal imbalances, and all these are very important. These might not be while you being fit kind of helps the health in many ways. It doesn't mean that you are 100% healthy. That is where your suggestion of regular screenings kind of, especially once we're crossing 40 and all that, it becomes very, very important, right? Now you when we started talking about injuries and stuff, you mentioned that there are three ways, right? One, self management, then
Meet a physio sports
meet a sports physio, and then
physician or
a surgeon. So when do you go to the third aspect of it, like ortho or someone like that? How do you differentiate?
To put it back more precise, here I would request every rider should have a coach. So because to reach a physiotherapist or reach a physician is not possible. It is like to reach a principal is difficult in a school, but class teacher is in my classroom every day. So if coach guides them, when I think if I'm not wrong, they should sleep nicely to start the ride next day.
Right. Yeah. Sleep management is very, very important.
And I believe that you are a very strict coach. That's what your students say. That discipline. I would say that.
Yeah.
Strict on your food habits, strict on your sleep time, do a proper this thing. A rider who loves to ride 50 kilometer, 100 kilometer week on week, or whatever the strategies you want to achieve, or he can be a triathlete, or he wants to do something more. Don't wait for the pain to make you to go to a doctor. Talk to your coach then and there. Have a coach is my first emphasis. Second thing is, when the pain is slightly on a higher rate, when it disturbs, ensure that you hit to the hospital directly. So don't, for example, somebody's parameter on HDL, LDL will be different ratio. Okay. Because I know physics, physiotherapy, but as a coach, you'll be having knowledge on everything. You know about like, okay, this doctor is good here, this he can do it, and this rider, he had last time he didn't did well, now he's doing good. So you know better than us to judge it. To when the pain is not allowing you to even to step out and step inside, don't do self-management.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Bruises, swelling, repetitive fall, or even the house sudden slip or something. Don't do this self jerk or this tatak practice or something.
Yeah.
Come and come back.
Right.
Reach your coach. There's your teacher. Then, if needed, nearby physios. Most of I think the relationship is more with the physiotherapist than the
Right.
patient aspect
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
If he's free, ping him up and question it. Like, what should I do? Rush up to the hospital and get it. And please land to a good hospital who knows sports orthopedics at least. At least the sports orthopedics. Nowadays, most of them knows what to be done. Get it done. Again, your teacher, your coach will guide you the right place, the right thing to be done. So I will put this question to the coach, then a physiotherapist to answer for it.
Right, right. So also when it comes to common injuries that you see in athletes, what are some of the common injuries that you see, and how can probably what can people do to kind of prevent it, or the once they have it, how do they approach to kind of treat it and stuff?
It's a very good question. Okay. Most of the time, rider buys a bike, starts riding it. Injury also self-managed, or instead of going for a self-management, directly hits to the chemistry. Chemistry blocks the pain, and still you push it. When you take a painkiller, the pain is blocked, so you're repeatedly damaging the tissues.
Right.
If you look at arthritis, if the arthritis is because of physical parameters, popping a painkiller leaves you without pain. Again, you rupture and damage it. Okay.
Right.
Most of the time, knee pain is the highest number of riders which comes with that. Okay. And if you see in my clinic, they don't come with the knee pain. They say that diagnosis of IT band syndrome or chondromalacia patella,
Right.
or peroneus longus, tibialis posterior strain, and this thing. Generally, a pain which comes with anterior aspect of the knee.
Anterior is behind
Front of the knee.
Front of
The front part of it is
okay.
called as,
Yeah.
okay, I will use the word.
Yes.
Front of the knee.
Ah.
Okay. An orthopedic diagnosis can be patellofemoral arthritis, prepatellar bursitis, infrapatellar bursitis, suprapatellar, collateral ligament, patellofemoral ligament. A lot of names is involved.
Right.
Okay. I would simply say it is your tight rectus femoris, which starts from the hip upper part and ends below the kneecap. If I use my elbow and I read it, I'll find out, okay, this fellow is tight here. Sometimes we hit with myofascial release. Sometimes we hit with a dry needling and do the retest then and there.
Right.
The pain goes away. Somebody comes with MRI, says that I have a cartilage damage, patellofemoral. I will not just go on with this imagination of diagnosis.
Right.
So when we find out the cause, irritation is on the tendon area. The pain is somewhere when we touch and feel it. So we put it on that area and we release it.
Right.
There are rare scenarios where it happens with an injury or a fall. Somebody has a fall, then it can be a different injury. Because of repetitive stress in cycling, that injury is different. A repetitive cycling stress injury, physiotherapist is the best to handle it. When somebody has with twisted ankle, knee, or meniscus, hamstrings, it's good to go with the diagnosis. We work with together. In fact, the situations, I'm in touch with Dr. Arvind Badri for most of my spine cases.
Right.
So I go back, he comes back, then we handle and do it.
Right.
Sometimes the rider comes with the pain in the hamstring and he tries to stretch, release, and everything. When we do the test, it looks like from the nerve, from the back, it is pressing. We call it a piriformis syndrome. But it is classic, typical hamstring strain also.
Okay.
For an individual, the pain is on the backside. So he thinks hamstrings or an IT band area. But when we cross-examine it, when the pain is not subsiding it, so it could be a disc which compressing the canal or foraminal canal, the nerve can be compressed.
Right.
So that we have some special treatments. It's in the US FDA. It increases the disc space and the bulge disc gets dissolved or it moves out. It's not going inside, just get dissolved, the popped out one. That helps for it on the disc area. When the pain is severe because of his physical ailments and physiological parameters, we work together. Couple of cases we no other choice to advise to go for a surgery. Repetitive stress, there's a meniscus injury or these aspects, put back to them. And then comes with most of the time the fall and the metal plates, the body with the riders proudly. I think many has that to do it. I'll be proud to say that most of the cyclists, they recover faster. I wondered how come. My book says upper limb fracture 3 months, lower limb fracture 9 months to get back and everything. The cyclist, the moment when they come out of the discharge from the operation theater, he asks like, when can I ride?
Sounds like me.
Obviously, correct. You're the person like, when I think you said the same thing on your show.
Yeah.
When can I ride?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think you asked the question, can I ride next week? You and Arvind asked that habit of asking, can I? And then when? Okay. When there's a traumatic injury, since you have your muscle length, joint mobility, stability is good, you recover faster. Okay. And ignored physical fitness can land up recovering a delayed one. As simple as a well-maintained car, even if it is a broke down, it recovers faster, quickly. Unmaintained vehicle or non-maintained car, troublesome happens, trouble. Same thing on vehicle. Then I am talking on the physics aspect to do it. So the injury management, meeting a surgeon, operated, then comes to physio. Again, we put them on functional training. Probably we meet them for 2 to 3 weeks. And then on online or offline follow-up calls, we put them back. But we want every rider to go back and ride. Because that's your need and that is our happiness also, I would say.
Right.
That's how we work on injury management when patient comes to a clinic.
Right. So, if I understand correctly, various kinds of knee issues are the most common injuries that you see, or are there any other form of, say, it can be IT band related, side of the knee, it can be something on top of the knee, behind the knee. Are these, or beyond that, are there any more common kind of pains and aches riders come up with for you?
No. As we mentioned, knee is the highest number of injury which happens. But knee also, once you adjust the bike fit, then the knee problem stops. The pain comes with front of the thigh, IT band. But later the science studied and said you cannot stretch the IT band, you can only release IT band. Pain comes with the groin. Patient comes with pain towards the glute region. And female rider, 5 feet height, for sure neck pain after 100 kilometers.
Why is that?
Because of their stooped posture in the vehicle. We have noticed a lot of female riders on second and third day in the long riders, tour of Nile Greece or any other races, they start getting the upper back pain. So either it can be on the road or they are scared to hold their comfortable position of holding the bar. What I noticed is we call it as an upper cross syndrome. The muscle in the front area gets more tighter. The muscle at the back and the upper area gets overstretched. So we don't treat the neck. We don't treat those muscles. We work out on thoracic mobility, where the body is stuck and they hold stiff to do it. We do some HLV technique and we release that. A rare scenario, but very challenging. Sometimes the numbness comes in the fingers, especially on little finger, off of the ring finger.
Right.
Again, the physiologist says neuropraxia, whatever, named by books. But my learning of, I must have seen at least around 100 patients in the last 10 years, the classic symptoms. They recover in about 3 weeks. But if they're not misused, the nerve compression towards that area, it can be towards, generally they call it the carpal tunnel syndrome, or it is actually not carpal tunnel syndrome. It comes with the median nerve entrapment. Here for cyclists, ulnar palsy, we call it.
Ulnar,
When the pressure comes more on this area, maybe a poor less gel on the bar, or holding in the drop position or handling, that covers it. It takes a slightly bit patience to diagnose it, and it comes on it. And the soreness of the butt, ischial bursitis, the buttock bone, those don't have buds, and the rubbing one, that happens it. And sometimes the pudendal nerve palsy, we call it. So you must have seen some of the people have cut their front seat rider. I mean, I've not seen much in Indian riders. So I've seen it in that when they're who ride like daily 100, 200 kilometers, right? Okay. So, they cut their saddle front portion.
Front nose of the saddle.
Yeah. So the scrotum is safer and not pressing much on it. So I was interacting with only one rider about that history, and I came to know that. But I studied, and then I said, yes, they have it.
Oh.
Common highest rate is knee pain, but they come to me when they have pain in the thigh. It can be thigh front, side, back, or whatever, or a shin splint. If that cyclist is a runner and a cyclist, he does both frequently. The style of landing or the calf muscle tightness or a poor pelvic tilt, that happens with that.
Shin splints.
Shin splint. And lower back nowadays, I don't blame on cycling because of sitting, because we sit a lot of time in the life than walking and moving around. And you put correlation of both knee first, shoulder, the neck, and back, the third severity of the pain which comes with a cyclist.
Right. So you mentioned about the ulnar pulse. So how do you treat that?
Okay. If it is a diagnosis done with nerve conduction study, a neurosurgeon or a neurophysician, it goes along with this. But when I'm on the road, there is no facilities to do a diagnosis to go further up. There's a numbness and tingling sensation happens on this area. We carry a modality called TENS, transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation.
Right.
That is a current which has a galvanic current effect, which stimulates the nerve to get the blood circulation on that area. And we hit it on that same place, say about 30-50 contractions of each muscle group for the entire region. And they ride. There's no resting.
Right.
Protect it, ride it, we do stimulation. Or recently, I think a couple of riders, I took them to the physiotherapist in the nearby town whenever we take rest, do the stimulation. And other guy, I couldn't recollect which tour he went. He came back for about in 3 weeks, they're perfect, max.
Right. So typically I see, that kind of issues, ulnar issues, when they are kind of maybe they are pressing on that on the handlebar, and maybe there can be an issue with the bike fit as well, right? So how many kind of injuries do you typically see that are directly or indirectly related to bike fit?
I would say 100%. I will not even think over to answer this question.
Right.
If your bike is not fit, please don't ride.
So there are bike fit issues, and of course repetitive stress injuries. When we talking about bike fit, it is not that bike is fit to ride, but you should fit to ride for you. The kind of it could be the saddle height, it could be the reach of the handlebars, it could be all these contact points, right? Whether you are sitting properly on the saddle, all these things kind of constitute bike fit. Of course, the movement of the knee, too much lateral movement of the knee is an issue, and all these, right? So do you when someone comes to you, when you are on tour, when you are observing riders, it is kind of easy to see, his bike fit is not correct and stuff. So, but say someone approached you, met you in the clinic, you haven't seen him ride. How do you kind of find out if that could be an issue?
Okay. It's a very nice question. It's a simple differentiation. When he gets the pain on pedaling, his bike is not fit.
Right.
When he gets pain or discomfort in the pedaling pattern, different areas, and after the ride, still if he has the pain, he is not fit. Bike is fit. So to be precise more, when I'm sitting on the saddle, when I'm pedaling, after about 5 or 10 kilometers, if the pain starts, you're not having a proper alignment. It's as simple as it is.
Okay.
Bike fit is not necessary to think of to a professional. We have the knowledge of what is this saddle height, handlebar, fixing everything. For a professional rider, I think a lot of bike fits are nowadays happening.
Right.
So they can get it done and just move around.
Yeah. So there are many bike shops nowadays, offer the bike fit services.
Yes.
Like Crankmaster does it, the Velo Studio, the Cycle Station, Pumps on the Saturday. I think most of the bike shops kind of offer the
Bike fit.
services, and I think that is for a new rider who is getting into cycling, or even a little bit of even a rider who is riding for a few months or a few years. If they are experiencing repetitive kind of stresses, strains, pains, I think that would be the first place to look at, to kind of consult a bike fitter and get a basic bike fit done. And then of course, even after that, some kind of injuries and stuff like that comes in. Of course, you need, like we talked about, the scale of pain and all that, consult a physio, sports physio, and get it sorted, right? So what are some of the things, the kind of advices you would give cyclists or athletes to uh, prevent, maintain, and prevent, cure, and maintain?
Treatment.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sir, coming to the preventive aspect of cycling, whatever the injury which may happen, first thing is be conscious, be alert to get a fall and injury on prevention. Let it be on a fall or let it be on a repetitive injury. What happens is, in the preventive aspect, ensure that you do certain movements freely, called as functional movement, which I mentioned. We do that program like physio for cyclist. Like when I'm asking you to squat, so whether the knee is crossing your ankle, I mean grade 2, or you're going back. So I say your core is weak. Moment you go squat, we could make out like whatever the position we do it on a functional aspect. And you can get a screening done by your cycle, get a bike fit, get a screening done by yourself as a rider. Are you fit to do it? Cycling actually started as a treatment purpose and then commuting purpose. Now it has become a sport. So you need to be fit to do that. So fit, a regular thing, and muscle length, muscle strength, joint stability. This three comes in the preventive aspect.
Right.
So to be more precise, if you're brushing the teeth, do the warm up. When you get into the cycling, whether you're riding or not, have the habit of, along with your regular fitness, maintain your physical fitness programs also in the preventive aspect.
Right.
Again, the preventive aspect, certain things are most common, like you should be with the helmet, you should be with the gloves, you should be with the proper cleats, and you should be off the road.
Right.
To do it, and no headphones. And if you notice the roads are not good, don't take a challenges on the injury aspect. Don't go alone in the long distances routes. Go as a team. Again, with a coach, with a team, which helps more to do it. A lot of things comes on a preventive aspect. When it comes on a curative or a treatment aspect, as I mentioned again, stay away from the pain. Do the regular preventive programs. And if injury, something happens, don't panic because you are going to heal faster. You are a very good fit.
Yeah.
You're going to heal faster, so not to panic on it. The injury management, like we differentiate it on acute, subacute, and chronic pain in a medical term. Here in the sports injury, I go on a severity based.
Right.
Sometimes just a spasm or a sprain, myofascial release, ice packs, kinesio taping. On film, must have seen we do the lot of sports taping.
Right. Colorful taping.
Colorful tapings. We put it.
Yeah.
Again, go for. But taping helps only for about. There are evidences taping helps is on field much. Then on for a longer period,
Right.
which won't help it. And if it is slightly higher ratio, then we go with our functional exercises trainings. Then we use some of the physical modalities we have in our department, laser, DCT, which I mentioned. Those things to help for the treatment aspect. Then for a further protection, curative, rehab, whatever says, you cannot go for a strength and conditioning if you are not fit to do it. As I mentioned, you are not fit to sit in a cycle. I use the same word, you are not fit to do fitness also. So let your inflammation come down, pain come down, then hit the gym, get screened, work out on the muscle specifications.
Right.
Like, for example, somebody has a ACL injury, then he wants to ride. Yes, you ride, no problem. You can, in fact, we put them on cycling on 6th week itself, do it. But that is 20 minutes,
Right.
not off the road. When you're on the road, when you're doing it, you can do it about 3 months or 6 months, you can start riding it.
Yeah.
Again, riding is pattern of increasing the muscle tone or ability, proper stability pattern strengthening, proper everything. Then again, go for preventive.
Right.
Enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Keep preventive. Treatment will take care. Curative is in the rider's hand.
Yeah.
To live healthy.
Excellent. So excellent, advice, doctor. So, are there any other things that we missed talking about that you want to cover? We can talk about it. Otherwise, it's been a fantastic conversation.
I feel like you proved that you are a coach and your questions are right, hitting on me exactly what a cyclist needs to be followed up. We have covered most of the things to my knowledge, which I shared.
Awesome.
I think it's good enough.
Awesome.
I didn't emphasize more on mountain bike or a regular commuting cyclist because it doesn't come with the fall of this topic to be discussed. So mountain bikes is totally different scenario of positioning. There's no posture spoken there. Young boys, they jump and in fact they are on the cyclists with them, they are not with the cycle. So mountain bike is totally different. Otherwise, I'm quite happy with your questions and I think hope we covered and our audience feel happy with this information.
I mean, mountain bikers also kind of fall in the same cycling this thing. They tend to have more falls, more on the trails and stuff. But they seem to be having less number of injuries. At least I don't know if it is something that I did not come across so much. But their injuries tend to be something if they hit the trees in the trail more often or not. But it's been fantastic conversation, Dr. Dhanajeyan. Thanks for taking the time and spending this afternoon with the Working Athlete podcast.
Pleasure from my side also. I'm quite happy to be here, the part of it. Thank you, Winky. Thanks for this.
Thank you. That was my conversation with Dr. Dhanajeyan. I hope you enjoyed that. If you are enjoying these podcasts and are finding them useful, please consider supporting the podcast by subscribing to it on YouTube as well as on your favorite podcasting app. It really helps. Thanks again for your continuous support. See you next week with another guest.